Welcome to the Tradies in Business podcast. Join your host, Nicole Cox, as she dives into the real stories, tips, secrets, and stuff-ups from guests both inside and outside the trade world. Nick is here to help you break free from the grind, reduce money stress, and build a trade business that truly works for you. So grab a brew, put your phone on silent, and get ready to be inspired.
You are listening to the Tradies in Business podcast, and this is my second batch recording today. I shared recently, and it might actually go live after this episode, that I batch record. I spend a week once a month or so. Sometimes I only do it in a quarter, and we batch record a bunch of episodes with our amazing guests. And so when I started out today and I did my first episode, I felt really almost nervous because it had been so long since I turned on the mic and I spoke to you in my podcast voice instead of my normal voice. And it went seamlessly. And I'm sure that this episode is going to be very seamless as well. I'm trying to give my guests some breathing space. We are joined today with another real tradie. He's a fair income tradie. He most certainly is. Brendan Wyllie from Str8Edge Construction. Thank you so much for being here today.
Good afternoon, Nick. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. I've been waiting a long time to get you on the podcast. Some of our clients require a little bit of convincing, gentle though it may be, but I didn't have to get to the point where I got Matt onto you, so you did very well, actually.
I'm definitely a little bit nervous about the whole thing. I haven't done anything like this before, so let's see where we can go.
Look, it's just a chat with me like we have whenever we do a private session. It's just the same, only there are hundreds of thousands of people listening to you. Brendan, how does that make you feel?
Comfortable.
Oh, I love it. Brendan, I'm going to start you off with, look, tell me your journey to becoming a builder. Did you go out of school and become a carpenter straight away? Like, did you start your apprenticeship straight up?
No, so I finished grade 12 back in 2002. No real direction of where I really wanted to go. I started studying to have a police officer, actually.
Oh, wow.
Didn't really get too far into it, and I had a phone call for a job interview for an apprentice carpentry that I didn't apply for. Turns out Mum applied for it. So without my mother, I wouldn't be a carpenter or a builder.
That's amazing.
Yeah, got the interview, got accepted, and then 12 months out of school, I started my apprenticeship. So
Wow.
2003, we kicked off, and here I am. So
You just reminded me of how much of a baby you are. It's a long time before that I finished school. I feel very old right now. Thanks, Brendan.
40 this year, so I'm not quite as young as I was.
You're just a baby still, or at least to me. With a little bit of wisdom sprinkled in. So, okay, you did your carpentry apprenticeship. Did you come out then and were you an employed carpenter, or what happened after your apprenticeship?
So I finished my apprenticeship in 2007. I finished it early. I excelled. I thoroughly enjoy being on the tools. I got everything done quickly, 6 months earlier, actually. So 2007, I then finished my trade and went straight in and got a contractor's license. Never actually used the contractor's license until 2015. I was always wages as an employee. I've travelled up the coast to Gladstone for 10 years, where I did a lot of commercial and then civil, plus mining and gas construction. So yeah, and then 2015, I made the decision to stop all the long days, long hours. Well, that's what I thought at the time. And I did my builder's license leading into 2015. So I started my own business in December 2015 as a builder.
That's amazing. It's so that first sort of work you did is very different to what you do now.
Yes. Yeah.
So great skill set to draw on.
Yeah, the apprenticeship was all done through housing, new homes, a lot of high-end extensions and renovations in along that. Guy I did my apprenticeship under, we would only do 3-4 homes a year at most. So they were all high-end whole homes, stuff like that.
Yeah, okay.
And then from there, I shifted to the commercial sector.
Yep.
So, but I believe that going from residential to commercial is a lot easier than doing a commercial apprenticeship into residential. You don't have those basics. I'm very, very lucky in that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'm looking at Well, I don't have an apprentice carpenter anymore. He's just graduated. He's now a tradie, my boy. So he's finally got he's finished his apprenticeship, and I'm so grateful that he had the opportunity to work with a builder that does renovations rather than new homes. So he has multiple skills across his trade, akin to, he's not quite there yet, but I kind of feel like the carpentry trade has really shifted in the last 20 years from what I have seen and certainly what I've experienced. And there was a time there where he was with his very first employer, and I thought, oh, he's going to come out and do nothing, be able to do nothing but framing, or maybe he'll go on the fix out gang and that's all he'll be able to do. But he was lucky to then go on and find another employer that gave him that broad skill set. Sounds like you had a little bit the same. Would you say that that was your experience?
Yeah, absolutely. We did everything right from foundations through to the roof on, hanging the plaster. 60% of the time would even stick frame, pitch the air.
Yep.
Yeah, so we got a real skill set taught to us by, let's be honest, my first 4 bosses were all over the age of 65.
Yeah.
Whenever I worked for them, so they're all old school.
Yeah.
The only things we didn't touch would be your plumbing and electrical, which are obviously their own licensed trades.
Yeah, that's right. I think it's an important skill set to have, particularly if you want to go on to be a builder. And I get there are different kind of builders. Please don't come at me. Well, you can if you like. Maybe it'd start a conversation. I'm not frightened of being having a hard time. However, I believe the very best builders that create the best outcomes have that broad experience level so that they're able to facilitate the progress of the build in a way that they can keep a really close eye on. Whereas, when we come into it, I've spent my time building and I don't know how to build a house. And so I'm only supervising and I can't necessarily guarantee the outcome because I don't know what I'm doing. And there are lots of builders out there that are young blokes giving it a go and they've got a vague idea, but they haven't had the full experience or been taught all of the skills somebody like yourself has. I feel for me, it's really important to have that full skill set. Would you say that it's been advantageous to you going into business, having all of those skills, Brennan?
Um, yeah, I think it's definitely advantaged me, because I can actually see what's involved. Because I still teach my guys. I got one guy is fresh out of his trade. When I say fresh, he's just over 12 months out. They've labelled him a mini me. I reckon he just does everything that I do and how I do it, and it's like me, which is great. So obviously we taught him well. So I'd still get them to do all the concreting, the foundation. We're sort of stepping back from doing our own roofs and that, unless we're doing like a shed construction, mainly because it is coming down to a liability now, and it is all form based. So, but yeah, definitely knowing the background of each trade has definitely helped, even try some work. So, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more. Okay, I think it needs to be said that you're based up in Harvey Bay. Have you, other than when you went up to Gladstone, have you always been in Harvey Bay?
Hardy Bay, Maryborough, the Fraser Coast area. We did venture to Victoria once. We did a project down there. It was probably about an 8-month project for the local engineer, had a property down there. Still experience. So yeah, we did. It was a massive big farm home looking over the Grampian. Yeah, that was about as far as I've gone. So yeah, the three sites.
That's amazing. I can, having been to Harvey Bay a couple of times and knowing that it is, sorry, Brennan, retirement central. There are a lot of retirees in Harvey Bay because it is so beautiful, but it's far enough away for it to be super affordable for most retirees to offer them the kind of lifestyle they want when they retire. I reckon it'd be really hard to get the trades involved with what you do to be able to find plasterers and painters and tilers and concreters and roofers and all of the sub trades that we need to create our projects. Has that been a struggle for you?
I guess that's the other reason why we do a lot of it ourselves, because there isn't enough skilled labour in our town. As you said, retirement central. I think we're up to like 15 retirement villages. Every limit, every speed limit's getting dropped to 50. So, that's probably a little shot at them, but they tell us it only takes an extra 10 seconds to get where we need to go. So, there are definitely a lot of Southerners still moving up, in the trade, but they're coming with the high expectations of those metro rates,
Yes.
which just don't fly at the moment where we are.
Mm.
So, but I think if they want work, they're going to have to come to the realization that it is rural. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very different.
Yeah. So,
I think being Queensland based as well, well, this might get me shot, but I'm going to say it anyway. Given that there are so many union sites in and around Brisbane where there is a very vast difference in what those employees are paid to what is available as a going rate. Outside of that kind of employment, it can be very challenging for us as business owners to bump into that and to be able to help them make sense of it. So I do see a bit of a shift, particularly with the Olympics coming. Queensland is most definitely a very dynamic area for the trades at the moment. Plenty of work, which is fantastic, but plenty of frustrations that come with that, of course. Okay, Brennan, so you started your business in 2015. I love the name, Str8Edge. How did you come up with that?
So I got an older brother. He's based in Brisbane. He's an IT guru. And I went to him one weekend and said, "Hey, look, I'm going out on my own. Come up with a name for me." Came up with Str8Edge, and I was like, "Right, love it. Like, it's part of our trade. It's a tool of our trade, and we pretty much work in straight lines every day." So
Yeah, it's a cracking.
my older brother came up with that one. So
I love it.
we first started off as just a contractor rather than a builder. So it was actually Str8Edge carpentry and concreting.
Yep.
And then we transitioned into the building side and changed it to construction. So,
Oh, tell me about that transition. What made you push into that area?
well, originally my licensing only let me do so much work and underneath a licensed builder. So then the thing was we wanted to build our own stuff. So we obviously had to take that next step into the building of license. And yeah, so we wanted a proper name rather than just carpentry concreting. Otherwise, we weren't going to get the work
That's right.
we wanted because they thought we're just carpenters and concrete, not a builder. Yeah. So
A name, whilst a name can mean very little, sometimes when it's so descriptive, it can mean an awful lot as well. I mean, there's an episode that we did many, many moons ago with the founder of Fergus, which is a software that I'm sure you're familiar with. It was named after his dog. I mean, in that case, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't matter. But when we're being really descriptive, carpentry and concreting, but we want to build homes, you're absolutely right. It needs to shift. There needs to be a change there. It becomes quite important. But if you're not descriptive, it just doesn't matter. If we're descriptive, we've got to be clear. Brennan, tell me about your journey in business. It's been an interesting one. I should be very transparent and say you've been working with us now. What did we work at before? So you did a little stint in our original trade desk way back in 2019. And then you joined us in our current Tradiepreneur program in April last year. So almost 18 months now. Tell us about your journey in business.
so the first 5 years, I guess, was basically just myself. Even though I had my builder's license, I was only contracting to other builders. We were up in Gladstone at the time, so the first 4 years was in Gladstone. We were mainly there because Kristen's family was all there. And then they all decided that they've had enough and they're shifting back to Hervey Bay. So then we did a 12-month period by ourselves up there, and it was just too hard. We had 3 young kids, and we're like, now's the time we've got to make the move if we're going to move. So then we moved back to the Bay late 2018, started 2019. And then that's where we started developing into the building side of our own thing. Started off basically still just myself, bathroom, small deck, couple patios. Work started increasing. Found a tradesman as we were building and renovating our own home. He was a carpenter that just finished up with another builder who retired, and he was helping his brother put our roof on. So that sort of led into my first tradesman. So it was the start of 2021. I put my first tradesman on. Shortly after, we put our first skill-based apprentice on, who's still with me currently.
Wow.
That would be 2020 because his 5 years service was just gone. So he's been with us 5 years. Definitely grown from those small decks to some larger extensions and renos. Like the average job might have been 10 to 15,000. Now our average reno or extension's up around the 240, 260 somewhere area.
Yeah.
And I've got 2 tradesmen with me and a skill-based apprentice who just finished school, so he's full-time now. And myself. I guess in the last 6 months, I've seen the business grow that I've had a nail bag on twice in 6 months. So yeah, it's a whole nother kettle of fish sitting in front of a computer or telephone all day.
Yeah, it was a big transition for you too, one that, it wasn't easy, was it, Brendan?
No, now I'm finding it hard to put the nail bag on.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so, it was definitely big. I found it hard to let go.
Yep.
Like, I like to have or feel like I've got control.
Yeah.
As I said, the young tradesmen I've got, they as I said, they mainly mini me, and it just works. Like, he gets what I want, he knows what I want, and he actually drives the team in the right direction for me.
It's amazing. All that work you put into him's paid off.
Yeah, so I generally go to site first up,
Mhm.
then I'll check in after lunch. Sometimes I'm there for a few hours 'cause dealing with clients and stuff as well, but, um, Voxer, Voxer, they just need anything, they just send it through.
The best tool.
Mm. Yeah.
Let's talk about clients because you, like me, have had some pretty gnarly experiences with clients over our time. I can put my hand on my heart and say 100% in my case, that was our responsibility because we chose the wrong clients. And in doing so, we've learnt some amazing lessons, some very expensive lessons, but some amazing lessons. Because I think, our client base is still, they're still educated to think that the client's always right. And it's just not true, unfortunately. But what that does do for all of us is put us in a position where we have to have some really uncomfortable conversations at times, which can be very challenging to do. Brenda, do you want to share, and maybe you don't, and it's quite okay, but perhaps there's a lesson or two that you've learnt throughout your process with some great clients and some challenging clients that you'd love for others to learn?
Yeah. I guess transparency is a big one. Uh, Putting everything out there right back at the start was probably vulnerability from me, which left me open with a particular client
Yep.
who took advantage of that. Um, it's taught me to keep my cards closer to my chest in some aspects of the building game, because it did end up costing us quite a bit of money and stress and time, and a very hard point on our relationship with Kristen. Um, but yeah, I guess not letting everybody know everything is a big thing. Only the detailed stuff I need to know.
Mm.
So even with the boys at work, I used to be very open with them on everything, but now it's very cut and dry. I don't give them too much information. I set the task for the day, and then we go from there. But yeah, the clients, I believe they think they have the right to everything, which is not the case.
No, it's not.
And documents, that was one thing they didn't have in place was paper trails and documents. So I've learnt that everything needs to be on paper.
Mm.
Mm.
Brendan, what I'm hearing you say is clients and team aren't friends. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
This is the best lesson I ever learned.
Yeah. It's all facade, right?
Yeah, well, we kind of, I guess it's like everything in our life. There are versions of us that people get to see, and every single person that we ever meet has a different experience with us than the person before or the person after. But for example, well, I'll talk about myself. When I go and talk to a property manager about the kind of work that I'm available for, and I'm putting my boundaries in place, or I'm, establishing a relationship with them or to work with them on an ongoing basis, there's a particular persona that I bring to those conversations. Now, it might appear really friendly, and it is, but doesn't mean that I want to be your best mate, which pulls me out of that vulnerable space where they can take advantage of me and begin to manipulate me. Because I have, like you say, I'm still leaving a part of me away from that particular relationship. And I think it's another one of those things that trades are never taught is how to have good, honest, clear communication with clients that doesn't leave you open to being manipulated. I don't know that I've figured out the formula for that just yet because there's certainly times when it happens in my building business, certainly not in this one, but in my building business. And then I think it's the same with staff. I think staff can quickly take advantage of you where we're not, there's a balance between being friendly and not necessarily being a mate. And I think that we have to have that moment of there needs to be a position of authority taken, and that needs to maintain through the relationship. Or unfortunately, we find ourselves in positions where they're taking advantage of us. And I think that's pretty true for you, remembering what I've remembered about some of the opportunities for growth that you've had in our time, Brendan.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So I'll touch on that one with the boss being a boss and then also being a mate. I had a perfect example with one of the old guys I worked for in Gladstone. So from 7 to 4, he was your boss. After 4 o'clock, he was the first person to come up with a can of rum and sit down and have a drink with you.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a thing about work mentioned.
Yeah.
So he knew how to separate it. And I guess I've learnt, looking back now, I've learnt that that's how it needs to be. 7 to 4, you're an employee. After that, we're mate.
Yeah.
Family. But yeah, probably what I've learnt from.
It's a hard lesson to learn, unfortunately. And I reckon there'll be a bunch of people listening to this considering whether they're mates all the time or they're just mates outside of work.
Yeah.
It's a good definition to have. Brendan, do you want to share with us some of the lessons you've learned or some of the changes you've had to make to create this role for you now where you're barely putting on the nail bag?
So committing more to quoting, consistently quoting, whereas I'd find myself quote for a period of time, get the work and stop quoting. And then we'd chase our tail and would be then trying to quote to keep the work going. Whereas now I'm quoting consistently, job scheduling consistently, winning work consistently, and that's now my role. Kristen's sort of, because Kristen back at uni, so she does the sales process for me, and then I'll do everything else after that. So, yeah, it's working well. And the guys get where I am. They know why I'm doing what I'm doing. As I say to them, I might not be on the tours, but I'm getting you guys the work.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
If you're not off doing what you're doing, there's no work for them. And I think, unfortunately, many of us get caught in that cycle of, quote, 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 do all the work. Oh, shit, now there's nothing. Quote, 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 do all the work. Oh, there's nothing. And it just goes round and round and round.
And that was definitely the cycle we're in right up until, I'm going to say, and the last year was, yeah. So I had a bit of shift in the scope we were doing too after those nasty clients. So I'd sort of scaled back and did some small stuff, but obviously taking on those one-on-one coaching sessions, we've managed to grow where we are now. And yeah, we're looking at 8 months lead time at the moment. So
it's amazing. Such a big shift. Brendan, okay, let's talk about coaching. You brought it up, so you've dropped yourself in it. Thank you very much. What is it that you think needed to shift for you to be able to make the changes that you made?
it was definitely mindset. As I touched on it before about letting go and not having control 100% of the time. And the support from Kristen to know that we can do that and we can do what we're doing. So the business is pretty much supporting both of us full-time wages now with Kristen at uni. So the coaching's worked. It's the systems we've got, everything is just gelled, and yeah, here we are. Right.
Okay, it's my turn to be kind to you now. It's actually you that do all the work, Brendan. I might steer you in the right direction and give you some shortcuts and make it as easy as I can. But you front up and do the work, and that's what's changed. And for me, the big shift for you, and I hope it's okay to say this, it's been your mindset. It's been astronomical change. And I don't remember the moment that it flicked, but it was literally like flicking on a light switch. And there is night and day to the business you had before and the business you have now after, simply by, well, it's not simple at all, by committing to the work and getting to the point where you were ready to make that shift, where you're able to let go of control, but still monitor from afar, where you had the systems and support for you to, rest easy at the end of the day, knowing, okay, that day's work's done. My team's set and ready for the next day. My job is to keep putting the work in front of them. That's what shifted. From my opinion, from watching it, that's where the success of this has been for you, is in that big headspace shift that you've done. Can we talk about money a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Because I'm really proud of how well you guys are doing. And this is another one of those areas that shift for some people and doesn't shift for others. As I alluded to before I press record, we have there are two types of business owners, and this is true in every single business that there is. There are the ones that on some level innately don't believe that they are worthy of a profit, and so they actively block that profit continuously. And then there are those who believe it. I guess there's three. There's those who believe that they're worth a profit, and so they generally become the person that creates the business that is profitable. And then they're the ones sort of stuck in the middle. At the beginning, they don't believe that they're worth it, but over time and growth and opportunity, they suddenly understand that no, what they're doing, they're worth a profit for what they do every day. And I can remember some really great debates with you early on around charging what you're worth and how challenging that was to shift that headspace for you. And it has created a different outcome for you now. You've got security in the bank that you haven't had before. Can you talk us through what that was like for you?
Yeah. So I guess we always struggled to even have $5,000 in the bank. It was ridiculous. And that was quite stressful. How am I going to pay? How am I going to pay? Knowing our worth was a big one. I guess that come to light at the end of last year, start of this year, when we were working for a developer and he tried to tell me my rates were way too high, above industry standard. And I was sort of got in a bit of an argument with him. But we do charge what we charge. It works. We haven't had any kickbacks on the clients on our ideal avatar. They're all been quite happy with what we're charging. They understand what we charge and why we charge it. And money in the bank, it's comfortable. I don't want to sound greedy or anything, but I'm like a dog with a bone now.
Yeah.
I make sure that every week I'm putting something from the business into another account.
Yep.
And I want to watch it grow, and I'm enjoying watching it grow. So, Kristen's been too busy to even understand what's going on, but every week I'll say, "Here, have a look at this." It's just, wow, I'm really out of touch. But
That's amazing.
yeah, it's really good to actually watch the business grow. I'm off the tools and it's running smoothly. So, with the work in front, our predicted profit for the next 6 months probably double what we've done for
Wow.
the previous 12 months. So
That's
if we
amazing.
just pull it together without any mistakes, then yeah, business is growing and comfortable.
Let's talk about comfort. I really want to, because there'll be a lot of people listening to this, Brendan, who are in your before version and thinking about the way they would like it to be. But sometimes the road to getting where we want to be is a really bumpy one. It's quite painful. You know this. I'm not telling you anything you haven't experienced. But let's sell them the dream. Let's help them understand what it feels like to have a good amount of money in the bank every week.
Well, we're coming conference and when, bringing the 3 kids, so quite expensive. So that we've got, it's there, the little nuggets there to
Yeah.
play with. We've managed to be able to invest in the property, our own property.
Yeah.
We're now looking down the line of an investment home as well.
Yeah.
So it's just, comfort of being able to be uncomfortable to get comfortable. And that was Warwick always said, you've got to be uncomfortable to get comfortable. And it's paying off.
Yeah. Oh, that's
But I just got to keep focused. I can't let it drop like I used to let it drop with that cycle of the quoting and to then do the work. So it's just a different cycle now.
Yeah. Yeah, it totally is. And it's a continuous improvement on the headspace. So you, like you say, you don't drop back to before. And it's the understanding of this is very hard without visuals, but I'll try and explain it for those that are listening. In your brain, we have these highways that are called neural pathways. And so the way you've always done something is one neural pathway. And to create a change, you have to tunnel in a new neural pathway. And you can imagine that's really hard to do. And it takes a lot of repeated action for that new neural pathway to grow so that the old one can eventually die away a very slow, horrible death. But it becomes very challenging to be able to stick to that new neural pathway. And so we get caught in this cycle called toggling, where we will drop back to the old neural pathway for a bit before we realize, oh, stop, I'm not meant to do it this way, and jump back onto that new highway that we've made a decision to stay on for now. So Sometimes I think that's the advantage of having a community around you working on the same things that you are, because we collectively recognize when we're driving down the wrong road and it's time to get back on our new neural pathway to create that outcome that we're looking for. Brendan, where to next for you?
I am definitely looking down the road of another trade hill to potentially not increase the workload, but increase the workload and bring it forward. That's sort of where the direction we're heading in now. With inquiries and quoting that's happening at the moment, it's only going to take 3 more quotes to be accepted, and next year will be pretty much come and see me in 2027. So
Whoa.
some bigger projects starting to come through too. So, I mean, we'd still definitely love to try and go down that new home path. I've actually never said it at Christmas before, but a dream of mine when I first started in business was to be like a franchise.
Yep.
How I look at it, I don't want to be a franchise because I like the idea of being in more than one place. But
Yes.
that's a whole nother level. And I don't think I've ever got that in me. Now,
No, I don't know anymore, Brendan. There's been such a big change in the past 18 months. I think anything's possible.
yeah. So I mean, maybe Str8Edge can expand. I guess it's something I can look at in the future. Maybe when the young tradesman I've got wants to travel, I might be able to send the business leg with him, and who knows?
I just got very excited for conference.
I've never really thought about it like that, but that was always a thing that I hadn't spoken to Kristen about. But
Yeah.
you like the idea of, like, growing up as a carpenter, you'd see your GJ gardeners and they're all around the place. And, that was sort of a vision I once had. So, yeah.
Oh,
You know.
it's the space, listeners. Book comment. Brendan doesn't even know what he's just opened up.
Maybe 10 years, whether it takes that long or longer.
Oh, I reckon we can shorten that time frame. You've given me permission now, whether you know it or not. I'm sorry, not sorry. Let's go. Brendan, if there's one thing that your 2015 version wish he had have known that you know now, what would it be?
You don't have to work 80 hours a week to be profitable.
Hallelujah.
Yep.
That's a great lesson.
Yeah.
And it's not as hard as you think to get there is what I would supplement there. It just takes a little bit of confidence, the right people to back you in the right direction, and you can do it too. You don't have to be working 80 hours a week.
Yeah.
Your family needs you.
Yes. 3 little people keep me busy enough.
Oh, yes, they do. Oh, and we haven't even touched on the fact that you do, it's Ironman, isn't it, that you do?
No, not just the half. I don't do the full ones.
Okay, no, I just still think that's amazing. You've seen me. I'm not built for any kind of that kind of activity at all. I'll stick to my Pilates. Yeah, and you've got time to do those things now, all because of the work that you did to get yourself there.
Yeah, it's actually quite enjoyable because my 2 eldest are now old enough and quick enough, almost quicker than me now on a bike and running. So I just sort of tag along with them on their training sessions. So
That's very cool.
yeah.
It's great to be able to have that time to spend with them.
It is. Yeah.
That's the real legacy, I believe.
Yeah. And they enjoy it. So.
But they do.
Mm.
They're young enough that Dad's still cool. It's okay. 2 years' time, everything's going to change.
Starting with the daughter.
Oh, I bet it is. Brendan, thank you so much for being open and willing to give this a go. I know it can be a bit nerve-wracking putting yourself out there and allowing others to learn from your journey, but you've had such a transition really refinedly in the last 6 months, but the 12 months before that has been building to that point. I just think it's fantastic that you are open to share that with all of our listeners. Thank you.
No, thank you. It's been enjoyable. And the nerves are gone.
Oh, no. Now you can relax. You'll get the dopamine surge in a minute while we finish up. If you're looking to find out more about Brendan and what he does or the projects that he works on, or you think you might be his very next tradesperson, check out the show notes. We're going to pop a bunch of links there. I know he'd love to hear from you. Thank you for listening.
You've been listening to Tradies in Business podcast with Nicole Cox. Find out more about today's guest, tools for your trade business, and other cool stuff at tradiesinbusiness.com.au.